For some other folks. Yes.
So you guys have kind of been going back and forth between talking about right to like something. Let's call it right to like.
Oh wow, I like the very clever.
Hashtag right to like.
As fans yourselves, and then also talking about it as creators and what it means when there's fans talking about your own work. But as fans yourselves, trying to take the creator aspect out of it, what level of discourse do you think is appropriate between fans? Like, you didn't like that someone came on your Facebook page and told you were stupid for liking a show or something like that. But they just wanted to engage with you. I don't know where
I really draw the line. Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you. Where I really draw the line is where fans ascribe intent or tend to offer bullshit. Can I say bullshit? Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, I think now. Sort of bullshit insider knowledge about stuff that is really like, oh, he did this clearly because he hates Thor. Yeah, he made Thor a woman because clearly he hates Thor, or he's an SJW. I really draw the line at people believing that they have insider knowledge as to why decisions were made. That infuriates me because 9.999 times out of 10, they don't.
But wait, but I heard Joss Whedon's been fired off of Batgirl because
like
his Wonder Woman.
No.
And others.
No. But that stuff, oh my God, yeah, that's
a whole other topic.
Yeah, that sort of that string of bullshit that sort of weirdly rationalizes these weird rationalizations or these jumps to conclusions that aren't either based in logic or news or facts. Really, really irritate me. If you don't like something, you don't like something. You can speculate, but largely that speculation is just that, and becomes this echo chamber of noise that is oftentimes cruel and sometimes blatantly false. And I really draw the line there.
It's just basic humanity. It's acknowledging the basic humanity of others, right?
Didn't we give that up with the advent of social media?
I'm sure, yeah, that's the real problem. And honestly, this will bother me even when no creators are involved, right? But people on my Facebook page will be like, well, so-and-so is clearly just a lazy writer, just a lazy Hollywood hack collecting his paycheck.
Wait, were they talking about you?
Yeah, I mean, that's correct. But, I've met a lot of writers. I've met bad writers, certainly. I have yet to meet a single lazy writer. Every writer does this job because they care. And it's way too hard a business to get into and make a living at, to do it because you just man, screw you, I hate Green Lantern, where's my money?
And they I mean, that's
You read my notes.
Yeah, I do. But I think that's absolutely true, and people forget that this is a collaborative environment, especially with media. So it's not just one single vision that we're dealing with here. We're dealing with the vision of directors. We're dealing with the vision of producers and the vision of actors or pencilers or inkers or illustrators or editors-in-chief. We're definitely dealing with multiple voices. And just because one wrote something one way does not mean that they were the sole single vision behind something, whether it's a TV show or whatever. There are so many people involved in the production of entertainment these days that unless you're an auteur, by and large, that it's not just one person's vision.
Yeah, I think for myself,
they may get the credit, but everybody deserves the blame.
Right, and I think the dialogue when it's not about work that you're personally a creator of or a participant in. And I remember before I reformed, having arguments with a dear friend of mine because he basically, I'll summarize it this way, I'm sure he wouldn't, he liked movies if they were really loud. Like he would actually say, oh, it's just a popcorn movie, so it's okay that it, so I don't know why you didn't like it, just because you say it didn't make any sense or whatever.
Or it was blatantly racist.
But the thing is, I was like, and I would have made the case then, and I still would if I'm debating merits with friends as opposed to trying to convince somebody that they should agree with me. Because I think that's where the big difference, I think that's where social media is very unsubtle and not good at it. Like, you read a Facebook post on your phone and you type the answer to it while you're in the elevator and you hit post, and then later you're like, oh God, I sound like a complete asshole. Whereas, in conversation, you get a chance to sort of reframe a little bit to get closer to your ideas. It's like, the really good popcorn movies that, endured generally made more sense and were better than the ones that didn't. I suspect more people will be talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark than Transformers 4 or Dark of the whatever 20 years from now. Just, it's not, it's not coincidence. It's like there's a connection between quality and not quality in that, or craft or thoughtfulness that still endures. But again, I've reformed, and it's like, if you like Transformers movies, go see Transformers movies. It doesn't hurt me.
Right.
Yeah. My movie didn't open opposite Transformers. I don't have a movie
Yet.
Yeah, then I'll be mad. It's a whole different than an investment. But yeah.
I was wondering if you could also talk about sort of levels of like and fandom, and specifically, like, for me, there are things that I like I love Game of Thrones, the show. I really enjoy it. But I've never read the books, so in the fandom, I'm not a true fan. I'm this other level.
Those fans can go fuck themselves.
And then even
Oh wait, was I allowed to say that?
Also, I just say, you have a really hard time. I've read some of the books, but I sort of stopped halfway through, and we'll go back to them someday, maybe. But you can't look on Wikipedia to find out things that confuse you, because it'll tell you stuff from the books that you didn't know. Oh, it's a mess. We're the ones who suffer. We're the real victims.
But then even I know my girlfriends and I talk about it. There's you have to sort of prove your geek card, and particularly when you're a female, you have to prove your geek card. Well, did you read this thing, this obscure variant comic that's no longer in existence, and you can really only find it in this many areas? Like, it seems like those energies are just as strong as the energies of dislike for something.
Oh yeah, I mean, gatekeeping's just crappy. And gatekeeping's crappy no matter what it is, right? I don't like the idea of anyone showing any sort of fact element that entitles them to speak. Everyone is entitled to speak, and everyone should listen.
Sir, can I ask a question? She said something very interesting.
Yeah.
How do you know it's because you're a female? Because I hear a lot the word fanboy is always thrown around. It makes the men are always the bad guys. But who do we know who's on the other end of that computer? We don't know. There's no face. We just see words.
Well, it depends. Actually, we do see words. It's on Facebook, and they're friends of friends, and we click on their profile, and they're like, oh.
But do you know who the gender is on the other? I mean,
you do.
I think there's mean-spirited females as much as men.
There are mean-spirited people for sure, but I would argue. A lot of this is anecdotal, but a really good friend of mine is a female. A really good Facebook friend of mine.
You know a female?
That's
great.
I married one. It's crazy. No. But she works in comic book retail and has for a number of years. And she gets asked on an almost daily basis, essentially, you don't really like comics though, right? Like she's asked if it's just a job because it seems so implausible that a woman is working in a comic book store.
Comic book fans are such gems.
But
you got to do whatever you can to get in there.
I think it's reasonable to say, I don't think I've ever encountered in years of being a fan and being in the comics industry, I don't know any male comic book retailer who has ever been asked by a customer of any gender if they really liked comics when they were in the store.
And that's when she's seeing people, right?
But I think it's reasonable to. I think it's still reasonable to assume that the anonymous stuff is a mirror of the culture that we live in. I don't think women are secretly waiting for the opportunity to strike by darkness of internet activity. I don't know. I can't prove it any more than you can prove your argument. I hope this has been fun for people. I'm so pleased that so many people came out. I hope we can do this again at future shows. I think the conversation is worth having.
Hashtag right to like next.
Hashtag right to like. I like it. Yeah. I'm not politically charged at all.
No.
That's what I like about it most. And for those of you who are on my side, enjoy the Twin Peaks finale tonight. The rest of you, I don't know what your problem